All right, guys. So this is gonna be just a little different video than I planned on doing it, but kind of give you guys a little update on what's been going on. Um, so I placed a big order, international, for some shrimp. 1,750 shrimp from Indonesia. I've never imported before, so it was a learning experience. I expected it to go rough. Um, and it went a little rougher than I expected. Let's just say that. So I placed the order a while back, and then found out my buddy was getting married, and we were going to go down there on vacation down in SoCal. So we told the guy you either need to send him right away when we paid, or you need to send him next week. And he doesn't, mind you, he doesn't speak. I don't think English is his first language, obviously. So, anyways, so we go on vacation. We leave Monday. We drive down to my wife's parents' house down in Arizona, and I'm in Washington, okay, Southeast Washington. And we drive down there. Well, I drove down there. It's about 16 hours, basically almost a straight shot. We stopped for Vegas for a few. I never did some little slots. I did that for a few minutes. But anyways, so we'll go down there. We'll have a good old time, and then we're gonna drive down to SoCal, where I'm from, and go to my buddy's house and kick it down there and have his wedding on Saturday, and then drive back Saturday night to come back Sunday so my kid could play football. It was his first official game. They've been doing scrimmages and whatnot, but anyways. So let's see here. We get down there Monday, and then Wednesday. No, we get down there Tuesday. Sorry, Tuesday-ish, and Wednesday night, this my new supplier messages me and my wife and says, "Sorry for the last notice. I shipped them today." I'm like, man, you were supposed to ship them next week. So I tried to get him to take it back. He kept the order. Couldn't do anything about it. I get it to an extent, but I was like, man, you really messing stuff up. So what I that next day I tried just figuring. I planned on figuring all the international customs paperwork out. I mean, I've been kind of working on it, but I was really trying to dial it in that on my vacation to an extent, mixed in with some fun, and then that way it would work out. Well, obviously that didn't go as planned. So what I got to do now is I got to drive my family, my wife and my son, stepson technically, but son, down to SoCal, get in a hotel that we rented for a couple days, and then get up to Washington again. But the way the timing worked and getting that flight and all this, I mean, it was costing me a ton of money. So last minute, we kind of figured out what the best idea would be to drive down to SoCal, which is 5-6 hour drive, and then take a flight, round trip from LAX to Seattle. When I get there, get the shrimp cleared, drive them to East Washington, where I'm from, and then back, and acclimate them. The drive alone was 7 hours, so I was gonna get no sleep again. I had no sleep from driving down there, and then that was the plan. And then fly back, and then drive back to Seattle, fly back down to SoCal, LAX. So just the way everything worked out, I ended up having to just drive down to LAX straight from the in-laws, and then my wife drove from after she dropped me off down to the hotel. Got to hold my friend, obviously. Excuse me. Well, that goes on. I fly up to Seattle. Didn't even think about that customs only has, operating hours. I kind of thought about it, but I was like, well, stuff comes in You know, flights are always coming in, so they got to have someone on staff all the time. Oh, mind you, when I'm trying to figure all this paperwork out the day before we drove down there, I'm calling customs down there, speaking to them. I'm trying to fill out paperwork, and it's really not a lot of information on the internet on what you got to do or on YouTube. So I can help anyone out with this stuff now. I'm not professional by any means, but at least I kind of know what to do. Because a lot of people couldn't figure out what you have these codes, and I can't remember the exact name of the code when it's coming into the U.S. I know it's like sometimes when going out, it's like Schedule B, and what it is it's the type of product it is. You know, electronics or airplane parts or fish for human consumption, ornamental fish. You know, this, that, and other. Well, there isn't really one for pet shrimp. So I talked to a couple different brokers. You can get international brokers, which aren't cheap exactly. Thank God I got a hold of someone through this company that I got, and she was super cool and kind of walked me through stuff, and she didn't have to. But anyways, no one could really figure out what kind of code to use because there's not one for pet shrimp. And the only one that was there for like a shrimp thing would be consumable. And then when you get the consumable, it gets a little messy, you know, because people eat it and, you know, all that stuff. So, and then every time I talk to the customs guy down there, he was just like, you need to get a broker. And I'm like, you just can't tell me what paperwork I need? Because, you know, I'm fairly intelligent. I can figure out what paperwork I bring and all that stuff, you know. He wouldn't give me an answer. So, anyways, fly down there. Get there at like 6 or something like that p.m. And then my shrimp come in right about that time, 6, 7 o'clock. Well, I rent a car, drive down to the customs thing, which moved. Okay, I didn't think about this. I didn't know where all this stuff was. All these places had moved because they had updated in Google Maps. So I drive down to the place that the cargo company that shipped it, and then go to pick them up. And well, I expected some kind of a you know, mess going on or whatever. And they're like, nah, well, you got to get. They were about to let me have it, actually. Let me say that. And then they're like, well, you didn't do this paperwork, this. And I'm like, nah. And they're like, okay, well, you have to do that. And I'm like, okay, well, all right, I'll go do that. And they're like, no, well, customs closed. So now I got to stay the night either in a hotel or in the airport. And I'm not going to be able, at this point now, I'm not going to be able to have time to drive them to my house to acclimate them, drive back to the airport, get the flight, and get back to my buddy's wedding. So it was just one thing after another. I mean, just talk about bad luck. But then there were some good things that happened. Some, you know, I was blessed on some things because I got in touch with like the right people. So anyways, so I sleep in this airport. Man, I'm in there for like 30 hours, you know, dealing with all this stuff at the end of the day. But I go to, I rent the car, right? Well, I expected that customs to be at the airport, right? So I was like, all right, well, just return this rental. Maybe they'll give me money back because I'm not renting for a whole day. Well, they didn't do that. And then lo and behold, I find out that the customs had moved. So now I'm without a car. Unless I'm going to pay another $100 something, you know, just to go get that. And I'm like, man. So, anyways, I have to walk. This sucker is like 2.5 miles from the airport. I walk down there in the morning and then talk to the lady. The lady was super cool. She felt really bad for me, and she like threw me a freaking bone and just filled the paperwork out for me, kind of explained to me what I need to do next time, and just totally helped me out. And that was awesome. Got that paperwork. Went down to a place to pick up my shrimp. Got it from them. I didn't have a car. I knew it was heavy, but I didn't know what the size of the package was. It was 27 kilos, which is like 58 pounds. And I get there, and dude, the box is like awkward as all can be. I mean, I'm decently strong too, but this thing was just awkward. And sloshing, you know what I mean? And I wasn't thinking about the sloshing part because it's hard to hold on your shoulders. And it was like basically almost like a 40-gallon breeder is what the size of this box was. Pretty much. Almost exact, probably. So I'm like, he's like, where's your car? I'm like, oh, I returned it. So he's like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, well, I'm strong. I'll carry it. I had to walk with a sucker like a mile, and I'm like, oh, man. It was just too hard. So I got a bus. I had to download an app to take a bus. I didn't know how to do that stuff. And take a bus, get down there, and I get to the check-in to check my box, which my wife kind of made some plans. I called her ahead of time, and she kind of did all this stuff for me. Well, the box is overweight, and I got there 7 minutes too late to check in the package. So now they can't load it. So I got to stay there for 9 hours or something like that. It was some crazy amount. And it was a non-refundable ticket. So I couldn't change it to a different airline or whatever. I had to wait till the next available thing, and every flight was booked until like 9 p.m. So I'm like, dude. Excuse me. So call my wife. I'm like, look, we kind of had some plans already in going on, and but I had to speed it up a little bit and change some things here and there. Mind you, I'm aware that international fish, shrimp, whatever, their water's gonna be different than ours. I get that. So I kind of took that in consideration and didn't really know what to do. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have water conditioner for tap water, and I didn't know what the water I was gonna have to use was like. You know what I mean? It's not the same water as here. The water I have here is amazing. I can do whatever. Just throw some water conditioner in there, and it's good for neos and some Caradinas, to be honest with you. So I was like, all right. I told my wife, I was like, hey, all right, buy me like 10 gallons of RO water. Give me some jugs. Give me some remineralizer. Give me some dechlorinator. I got all these different TDS meter. I got all these things. And she doesn't know. Some of the stuff she knows, but some of the stuff she doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect her to have to know everything. So she does all that. I get all these air hoses and all these air valves to do drip acclimation and whatnot. I get down there. Oh, my plane gets delayed. I end up getting back to the hotel. She picked me up from the airport, LAX, and then I'm from Orange County, so it's a drive. So we drove down there. We got back to the hotel, I think around 1 o'clock in the morning, and I still got to drip acclimate these guys, and then, excuse me, make it and get ready for the whole wedding. I didn't do any reception preparation or anything, and I'm the best man, okay? So, oh man. So I didn't know what to do. I opened up the box finally, and I'm gonna just tell you, the water was rank. It smelled horrible. So I was like, okay, that means death. So you know what I mean? So I'm opening up the box, and what I had her get was water cereal box jugs. Let me go get one actually. All right, so this is what I had her buy me. I had her buy me a bunch of these, and what I can do is I can dump the bags into here, drill a hole if I need to do whatever, but drip acclimate them into here. Okay, and then these can go in the box and whatnot. So I do that. I didn't know what to do. She got a remineralizer that I'm not familiar with, and it basically just did more GH than like all that stuff that I'm mess with and stuff. So I was like, all right, well, we'll do what we can do, So I started mixing it and measuring the TDS and the pH, KH, GH, all that stuff, and it's not really getting where I want it to go. So then I end up having to mix a little bit of tap water with some dechlorinator and kind of just freestyle it, you know what I mean? And mind you, this is a lot of shrimp, you know what I mean? It's almost 2,000 shrimp. So, and I'll tell you this, there wasn't a whole lot of deaths originally. There really wasn't. And which I was surprised because especially how bad the box. Oh man, that box smelled horrible. And so, anyways, we do that. We drip. Everything's looking good. I drip them all overnight, super slow, for the 4 or 5 hours I got to sleep. Load them up in the in our vehicle that we drove down there. Check out of the hotel. Go to my buddy's house. Leave them there. I was gonna do some more stuff there, but it just didn't work out because of all the wedding preparation and whatnot. And then we go to the wedding preparation. Actually, more just the wedding, to be honest with you. Actually, now I think about it, it was just the wedding, and then we did a reception a little bit after. Like, it's just our photos, I should say. Come back, because at this point now, I'm not gonna really be able to do too much. They're gonna go to our reception afterwards, and I'm not gonna drive down there and back, and all this California traffic sucks. So we drive back to his place. We're gonna load the shrimp up and then drive them down to the reception. They'll sit in the car for a little bit, and we'll drive back home to Washington. Well, I go back and I open the thing, and there's just casualties everywhere. And I don't know. Oh, we got a loofah. I had my wife get loofahs, which are really good for shrimp to hold on to. They already had some in there, but there were so many shrimp. There was 14 bags, and each of them had about 125 in there. So, and they had like one piece, and they were pretty full, but there were still a lot of them on the ground, and I know that that's not good for them to stress them out. So, washed off the loofah, or one of the loofahs, chopped it up, put them in all the things, and then she got me some kale, which is really good for calcium. I wanted to get spinach, she got me that too. Washed that off, organic, threw that in there before I went to the wedding. Came back, and they're just dying. I'm just like freaking out. Like, there was like no death, and all of a sudden I come back, and like some of them have, like, almost all of them are dead, or looking like they're dead. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I mean, ideally, everything shouldn't happen the way it happened, but it did. So anyway, so I like, what do I do? What do I do? So I jump in the car, run down to PetSmart, which was the closest store there, grab some activated carbon, some zeolite. Zeolite for if you don't know what that is, it's good for ammonia. And it will, that and some of the activated carbon will raise KHGH and all that stuff. So got that, threw it in there. I just freestyled, just like, and then was just panicking, and then went down the reception, and then on the way down there we got a couple battery powered air pumps, which I wasn't really planning on getting, but I was like, they'll be all right because of the slosh, and turn some water and whatnot, it'd be fine. But we ended up getting one of those anyways. Wife didn't get air stones. We had to freestyle that. It was crazy. So did that, and then just drove up that night. We literally just got back a couple hours ago, and what I did is I poured all these containers into 5-gallon buckets, and then kind of fished out all the dead ones, and then poured them back into that. And some of them were so good that I actually left them in the bucket, and then just pulled out the few deads. It was tough. Some of my colors did really well, and some of them did not do really well. Oh, and mind you, when I started seeing the deaths, I pulled all that kale out, pulled all the stuff out I could, and that's when I threw that carbon in there, because carbon will take out any kind of toxins. Okay, that's why I did what I did. And I also got some prime to take care of the ammonia as well as the zeolite. They started looking a little better, and then when we threw the air thing in there, they looked even better, but they still didn't look good. Drove back with them in a little car, which is behind me. Stunk the whole way. It's a 19-hour drive, 17-hour drive, something like that. Got back here and then really got to look at it, and I had a couple colors that were just, I got like 10 out of like 100, 200, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't get much. And then there were some colors that just, I had barely any deaths. Luckily for me, thank God, the ones that I had low inventory already were the ones that lived, and the ones that I had high inventory of were the ones that died, for the most part, give or take. One of my money makers was the and they were really good, nice quality too. Let me just tell you, was the Bloody Marys, and almost all, I think, I got lucky in, but I think almost all those died. I'm not happy, but my black chocos did great. My blues did great, and the blues are hard to get. I don't know. For me, at least, I can't find good quality blues, but my blues look good. And I got these fire yellows. They looked pretty good. They did all right. And he marked them like weird. He would write the name of the colors on each bag, but some of them kind of wore off because of the wet and just it was plastic. So I think I mixed some of the yellows with the fire yellows and the oranges. It was just a mess. But anyways, I just got done picking them out. I think if I were to total up, I'm probably about 50% death. It's close, which really sucks. But I should be able at least to make my money back, and a little bit extra, even at this point. So they're drip acclimating into the tanks they need to go into. Like I said, I got a couple colors that are like the yellow and fire yellow, orange. They might be all mixed up a little bit. I'm colorblind. I did some of the stuff without my wife. My wife wasn't doing too good. And I'll pull them out as needed, but as I go. But they're drip acclimating right now. I'm hoping that what I got left is strong and good. So I will have some really nice blues. I got a lot of blues. I got a lot of black, chocolate blacks. I got like 250. I ordered 250. Whether or not they're exactly 250, I don't know, but there's a good amount of them. I got some really nice yellows. I think they might be the fire yellows. I'm not 100% sure. I gotta look at them really good. The thing too is, as some of you shrimp people probably know, is shrimp will change color with stress with shipping. So 2 weeks from now, I'll be able to tell more clearly with what is what. You know what I mean? So I'll probably still get with this guy again. I let him know that I was not happy and that he screwed up on the shipping thing, and that I expect a better discount next time. So I'm gonna try to get almost 4,000 for what I pay for this, for 2,000 ish. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to get like half, or dang close. You know what I mean? Like maybe 1.5 for the price I paid for one. One $17.50 or something. And that was just a number I just picked. I may get more. I didn't do any reallys. I got yellow, fire yellow, orange, red, Bloody Mary, black choco, and blue. I think that's what I got. So, but maybe next order I'll get some reallys, because I'm not gonna lie. Some of the quality he sent me was on point. The only one I'm not 100% sure on the quality yet is the red cherries. Those are usually generally pretty cheap anyways. Those will be, I'll probably sell for like $3 a piece, or I don't know. If high enough, maybe less in quantity, but we'll see. But yeah, nightmare, man. Night freaking mare. But I plan on doing another order here shortly, and not having it done early. I don't got any more weddings to go. It was just bad timing on everything. It was a wedding, and it was like, okay, do I let the shrimp die and make my buddies he's like my best friend, so he is my best friend. Do I let my shrimp die and miss my best and go to my best friend's wedding, or do I go to my best friend's wedding and let the shrimp die? And yeah, I waited out, and my best friend gets married once. That's supposedly once a lifetime thing. So I went with that. Bros, and kind of cut my losses and just prayed, and it was just like, man, please, the Lord, let me at least get my money back, and I'll get that for sure. Because generally, like I said earlier, the ones that died are the cheaper ones and ones I already have a ton of. The only one that I really hurts probably financially would be the Bloody Marys. I'm not happy about that. But the blues and the black chacos, they're really good quality, and I'm not gonna sell them for super cheap. They're high quality. So, anyways, it's all learning step. I plan to do some big things this year. So stick around. I'm gonna start doing some promo codes and discount codes, in some of my videos and some of my streams, so that if any of you guys want some shrimp for a discounted price, then we'll do that. I'm also launching an app. It's already in the process. We've kind of made it. I just gotta work out some little bugs here and there and figure out what I want to add and take off and whatnot. So we got some big things happening this year. It's a long video, and it plans to be this long, but it is what it is. I'm hoping that everything, all the acclimate good from the drip acclimation. My water here is, I know what it's like, so I'm fairly confident that they'll do good with my water here. I was drip acclimating them with water I was not familiar with, and on top of a remineralizer that I'm not familiar with. So it was just one thing after another, you know what I mean? It was rough. Anyways, if you made this far, thank you. If you have any questions about shipping anything international or receiving anything international, ask me. I'll do the best I can. I picked the Customs 80s brain pretty decently and got some forms, and I picked up a couple flyers and whatnot. So it's not cheap. I'm gonna tell you right now. You want to ship international? It ain't cheap. So you definitely have to have money and buy them in bulk. I'm not gonna order 20 or 100 shrimp from Indonesia or Thailand or whatever, Taiwan, and have them shipped here, because the shipping is not. I'm not gonna make any money off it. You gotta get a lot. And this was my first time doing it, so I was like, all right, go $17.50. Because I would have gotten 2,000, but the other ones I wasn't really digging. Yeah, you know what I mean. I didn't want to do reallys. I really didn't. So I didn't. That's kind of like, you can either get good quality or crap. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather just get solid colors, and be good with it. But now that I know his quality is good, I'll probably get some reallys. Anyways, yeah. Any questions? How's your boy? And thanks for watching. I really hope people made this long. If you have any questions about international shipping and whatnot, but if you don't, it's all good. Later, guys.